Hello, everybody. It's Rick. You can reach me at Rick, R-I-C-K, 0327 at me.com. Today's the 22nd of February, 2017. All right, I'm going to do I got a piece of walnut in my teeth, excuse me. I'm going to show you guys quickly, for those of you who have my the old version of the demand for dismissal, demand for vacate. So if you get the package when I send you and you see demand for dismissal, it really is the demand for to vacate. I changed the heading. All right, and one of my guys, subscribers, Lottery Rich, sent me his, and it gave me the idea to show all you guys. What he did was he did it on his own, and it was perfect. All right. And I don't mind questions, guys. I mean, listen, the only way you're gonna learn is by doing. I mean, that's how I learned. I mean, I showed you the boxes. I mean, you should see the way I used to write. I was a horrible writer, and I just practiced, and I got it right. I figured out how they do it. I figured out what font they use, a double space, Times News Roman. I'll show you. See right here, right here. It's you're gonna go all the way down. All right there. See, Times New Roman. That's the font you're gonna use. And then it's size 14. Then alignment and spacing. It's double space. And if you want to, you want to do numbering. You want a number. You press that. It's a lot of things. I mean. One day I'm going to learn how to actually make a video the right way rather than just having my camera mounted over here. But, a little at a time. It's all about the content. It's not about the style. Remember that. All right? You could have a nice outfit on, but if you didn't take a shower for a week, you still smell like crap, and even though your outfit looks good, all right? It's a nice analogy, right? Anyway, okay. So, this is the version of the old one, all right? So, the new one, well, hold on here. We'll leave him for a little bit later. I want to show you something. All right, what you do is Federal Rule 60B. You want to add that, okay? So you can just type it in. I'll show you. So you're going to take demand for dismissal. You're going to click here, delete. It's going to be capital letters, demand to vacate. And it's always a notice. You're notifying the court. Wasil Bey did a video about petitioning. You don't petition because when you petition, you're asking for permission. You're begging. Like if you have to fill the paperwork then to get it in, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'll file a petition." But in your paperwork, don't use the word petition whenever you can. Stay away from words like request. A pet peeve of mine is I hate calling these judges honorable, because if they were honorable, we wouldn't be in this situation, okay? Honorable is a way of them intimidating us, all right? It's a presumption. The honorable, one guy, I went to a hearing with my pension system, and this racket that these retired judges got in New York State, probably every state, is whenever there's a hearing, like a work, if you work for a city job or a county job, state job, or you're retired and you have a dispute, they have to have these hearings. So what they do is they hire these retired judges, and they get called Your Honor and everything and whatever. So this guy actually shook my hand and called himself the Honorable so-and-so. And I was just laughing to myself. I'm like, this guy's in for it. And I bombarded this guy with so much facts, his head was spinning. And then he pulled a trick, a sneaky move on me. He's like, "Oh, you know what? Is it all right if we come back in 30 days and do it?" Well, that was 2.5 years later. I didn't get the hearing again until June 28th of 2016. It just passed, and it was a different guy, and it wasn't 30 days. It was 30 months later. So, what I'm making a point here also is that all I'm doing is I'm throwing the facts in their face. And you know what their response is? Pulling all these dirty little tricks. Now, if they're right, why don't they just tell you the reasons why they're right? Why do they got to resort to all of these tricks? So that should make you feel better that we're on the right track. You're just following me. You're following the way I did it, and you're gonna, like my man. I was showing you the proof that he's getting a response. Like, well, yeah, we don't have to validate the debt because it's the child support debt is not a debt. A debt is a debt. You got to validate it. Let's not play words. It's all semantics. So, you resubmit the paperwork, you cross that word out, and say, all right, can you please validate the debt, whatever the debt is, All right, so let's get back to this. You know me, I love the yap. All right, so it's demand to vacate. All right. Demand to vacate support order. All right, click here, hit enter, hit the space bar, come all the way across, keep going, right? Let me make some noise. All right. Demand to vacate. Again, hit capital letters, hit the caps lock key. Federal rule, right? Rule 60. All right, shift. Parentheses, B, close parentheses, right? Parentheses again, 4, close parentheses, and that's it. That's all you got to do. It's really simple stuff, and my man Jackson Taylor pointed out to me in my demand for dismissal document. I made that a while ago, and listen, there might be some things in here that are redundant. All you got to do is, like, there's a section where I'm talking about paternity. If paternity doesn't apply to you, just delete it, okay? Whatever you don't need, I overdo things. Remember I told you I always over-explain stuff because I'm bombarding these people with information, okay? What I'm doing is I'm showing them. This is 27 pages. One guy said, the guy said, well, it's too many pages. That's a bunch of nonsense, all right? But listen, if you have to bring it down to so many pages, then do it. There's more than enough stuff here. But if they did their job the right way, we wouldn't need 20-something pages, okay? Because I hit them from, showing that they didn't follow their own procedures on the expedited processes on the 45 CFR 303.101. I showed them that they don't follow due process under the 4th Amendment of the Constitution. Warrants, I show the presumptions that they can't rely on presumptions. What they do is their famous presumption is, family, like in New York State, they'll go, Family Court Act 413 says you got to blah, 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 and then they just bring that up and they ignore the question of, all right, where's my trial by jury? Well, family court, we don't do trial by juries. Oh, we got a big problem here. If you're not doing trial by jury, you just admitted you're violating my civil rights. Because as far as I know, the 4th Amendment and the 7th Amendment, or the 4th, 5th, the 4th is the search and seizure, you need a warrant. 5th is your guarantee to due process. You don't give testimony against yourself, and you don't provide affidavits, those financial disclosure affidavits. That's a big no-no, boys and ladies. Don't do it. All right? And the 7th Amendment is you're guaranteed a trial by a jury. So if let's say you're in a support hearing, right? And, excuse me, I'm always clearing my nose. I have sinus problems from working down at 9/11. I was a rescue worker. So and that's why some days my voice sounds hoarse and it doesn't, because I got sleep apnea. And when I breathe, I wake up with chapped lips and everything. It's a mess. But I do it again. But anyway, so when you're in those hearings, what you could do is you just object. Say, objection, I demand a trial by jury. Well, we don't do trial by jury. Well, if my ex-wife or your girl or whatever has a controversy where they want $20 or more, you're guaranteed a trial by jury. So that's an objection right there. Okay? So, there's so many things I was pointing out yesterday. Remember now the 14th Amendment. That court, under the 14th Amendment, you could say, wait a second, excuse me, objection. The 14th Amendment guarantees that I am afforded equal protection. So whatever, like if they're providing, your ex or your girl, your ex-girl, whatever, they're bending over backwards for her. You say, where's how come you're not affording me this equal protection under the 14th Amendment? And the 14th Amendment is a guarantee that they're supposed to follow the 4th, the 5th, the 7th. By the way, if they're threatening you with an arrest for child support, they have to give you a lawyer. That's another thing they gone away from. And the Department of Justice memo, hold on here. All right, that's the instructions. Isn't it nice? Nice colors and everything. Make it look fancy. It's just to bring attention. That's all it's there for. All right. Also, I gave you a nice link to the Constitution, so you always have a Constitution. All right, Dopey Rick, where the hell is the... There we are. All right, so here's the link to the... Let's see if it comes up here. Is the Google Drive. All right, you copy, open up. There we go. Google Drive is coming up. Beautiful. It took a little while, but it came up. All right. This is very important. You're going to print that out. And this is from the Department of Justice. This is showing that they're supposed to follow due process. And courts must consider alternatives to incarceration. So they're not supposed to jail you if you can't afford to pay a fine. Here we go. I'm unprepared for. Courts must not use arrest warrants or license suspensions as a means of coercing payment for a court debt. They do that all the time. One guy I was talking to yesterday, this guy Steve, and they arrested him for non-payment of child support. That's illegal. And here, you got to read this. Everybody should read this. Courts must safeguard against unconstitutional practices by court staff and private contractors. Anyway, I can't find it, but it's here. All right? So trust me, it's there. And what I'm doing is I also want you to read it. All right? It's very good stuff. All right. So I gave you a quick run around with that. Now I want you to watch this here. Remember what we're doing. We're going after your employer with the cease and desist. Now, we keep the key component. What I'm doing is, where is the warrant? So I want you to watch this clip here I'm going to play. And it was a sheriff. And the IRS came to him and said, oh, listen, what they do is the IRS or anybody else, or like CPS. CPS always gets the sheriff or the police to come with them and knock on your door. And they claim it's for their safety, but it's really to intimidate you. All right, but watch what happens here is that they're going like, all right, listen, we got to go in here. We're going to, repossess this, repossess that. And the guy goes, okay, well, show me your warrant. So the IRS guys pull out this piece of paper and they're like, and it's signed by them. Remember the IWOs are signed by the child support people? If it's signed at all, that's proof right there. So I want you to watch this and you're going to laugh, okay? Because it's proof. It makes you feel better, guys. You're going to watch this and you're going to feel better. You know we're on the right track. All right. Here we go.
Then they have to give that to you. Or you can safely assume that they have no authority. And they say, what do you mean you want to see our paperwork? We're IRS agents and they showed me their badges. We're from Washington, D.C. And we've got to go take this business over here. And your chief says you're going to go help us. I said, and I will. I promise you I will if you'll show me your paperwork. And so they fished around and finally pulled out a crumpled up couple white sheets of paper and said, here's our seizure notices and everything. And I looked over and I said, hey, this is a little strange. I said, this is a little bit perplexing. I said, you're Harold and you're Jones. And I said, your names are at the bottom of these seizure notices.
Okay, you got it? All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Smile.